dog. Tell me why I just went back to rewatch my earliest videos on this channel to be like, oh, let's see what little me was like. And I go back and watch them, and the videos are like infinitely better than anything I would make right now. They're aesthetic, they're cute. I had a camera that I don't have anymore, a camera that actually was good, and I acted normally. Not whatever this is. Take me back. I never thought I'd say this. Take me back to being 18. No. Okay, yeah. Today I'm gonna make a writing vlog. Okay, so my microphone. My microphone is not the greatest thing in the world, but it's what I have to work with at the moment, and I'm hoping it does not pick up the crazy sounds my laptop is making, but probably it is because it's literally sitting on top of my laptop. But anyway, it is October 16th, which is interesting because in previous years this would be preptober for those who participate in NanoWrimo, which I have the last several years. I only won/completed it in 2022? 2022? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. God. I'm getting old. Okay, I just checked and it was indeed 2022. I tried to do it in 2021, but I had only just learned about it and I wrote like 9,000 words for a project. Project Inc. Woo! Then the next year, I decided to do that project. I rewrote the beginning and I completed it. I wrote over 50,000 words, and then I did write a little more. I don't remember how much more. Not much more, I don't think. And then I gave up. I didn't give up, I just got distracted. In 2023, I think I was working on Project Hometown, but I worked on that one a lot outside of NanoWrimo. I still haven't finished it. I'm like 60,000 words into it or something. I did not win a NanoWrimo with that, but I've worked on that off and on for several years. And then I guess that would lead to the last NanoWrimo, which by then there was stuff had come out about the organization of NanoWrimo that I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I necessarily want to support this thing anymore. There was just some controversies. Not even controversies, there were just bad things that happened. And then ultimately, NanoWrimo shut down, which is interesting because this is the first November in like decades, I think, that there is no NanoWrimo. So I don't know exactly what other people are doing. I'm sure people are still going to do a 50,000 word writing challenge in November. I have seen Abby Emmons talk about, I don't actually know, I didn't watch a video, I was like on her email newsletter and she mentioned it, I guess with Pro Writing Aid, which I'm also hesitant because I know that's like AI stuff involved with it, but I know it's kind of at this point difficult to find anything that doesn't involve AI. From what I understand, the AI tools that are featured with the Pro Writing Aid program, I think it's a website, but you know, I think it's like an online word processing thing, kind of like Google Docs or Readsy, which I used to use. I now use Scrivener. If you don't want to invest in something, because it was like, I can't remember, $60 or something for the license of Scrivener, I really enjoyed Readsy while I used it. I liked Readsy because it kept things in separate files. I don't know, you can look into it if you're interested. Anyway, so last year I was hesitant to do anything under the name of NanoWrimo, but my mom actually did NanoWrimo and she won, and she was very excited about it. I was supportive of her during that, and I wrote a little bit for a project, but I didn't win. Probably like 10,000 words or something like that. That was for Project Apothecary. Yes, I have so many projects, none of them are freaking finished. And this is not even to mention Project Assassin, which is like my heart, my favorite project that I've worked on. I technically, not really though, at one point I did say that I finished a manuscript of it, that there was a first draft out there. It was only like 70,000 words though. It's a young adult fantasy novel, and I definitely wanted it to be at least 100,000. It was a very light draft at the time, like light in amount. It has come such a long way since that point, but I don't have a longer draft than that 70,000 word one because I go back and worked on the beginning of it, the beginning and the middle, so often, and I keep coming up with things. I'm like, no, I have like a plot hole that I need to fix, and I don't feel like it's worth it to continue writing something when I realize that there are such integral structural changes that I need to make in the beginning. So it's like I keep having to do the structural changes at the beginning that I never stick it out and finish the freaking novel. A better first draft of it, that first draft that I did, I realized that where the big like finale, or at least the all is lost, like the end of the second act and everything, I realized that's the freaking midpoint, yo. So I had to do a bunch of finagling to re-outline what I was going to do, and then outline an entire back half of the book that I hadn't anticipated initially, but it makes infinitely more sense now that I thought about it, but that's just so much work. So at this point, I have an outline. I've written the first half of this novel a bajillion times, but I feel like I am making it better every time. It's such a big project because it's a second world fantasy. I'm creating a whole new world, not to mention that this story has not one POV, not two POVs, not three POVs, not four, it has six points of view. The narrative style I've had for this novel has changed a lot. Initially, it was 6 first-person points of view, and then I was like, that's too much. And then I would do third-person points of view. Each chapter is a particular character. It keeps evolving. All of that being said, I completely derailed from what I was talking about earlier about Abby Emmons and the pro writing aid, whatever. There's a new thing called, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's NovNov, NovNov, NovNov. I don't know. But it's kind of like a replacement for NaNoWriMo, and it's, I guess, hosted by Pro Writing Aid. And they have whatever feature kind of like NaNoWriMo, like the word tracker thing. You can set up your project and stuff like that. But I'm thinking maybe I'll try to do that, and it's going to be different. A lot of times the idea of the NaNoWriMo or whatever doing that 50,000 word writing challenge, a lot of people would start a new novel. For this, it's not going to be from the beginning. It's going to be like the middle of the story, because where I'm sitting at the current draft of this novel, which I want to be probably like 120,000 words, something like that, I'm at like 35,000 words right now. So I need well over 50,000 words. So if I could spend November getting at least 50,000 words polished, or even just provided for the draft, because a lot of it is polishing words I've already written and then polishing things that I've already polished and going on and on. But there is also that whole back half of the novel that needs to be written. There's parts I can take, scenes I can reconfigure and move around and things like that, but there is a very large section of the novel that needs to be written from nothing. That is what I'm thinking I'm going to be doing this year. I also think I'm probably going to be writing this month. Probably going to be writing in this video, because I really need to get back in the headspace of the story, because I float in and out of it so often, and I float in between projects so much. My main projects of the ones I mentioned, I had Project Inc. That's shelved. I worked on it way back. I probably wrote like 60,000 words, and then I put it away. I don't know if I'm ever going to return to that. If I do, I'm going to completely overhaul so much of it. Project Hometown. I juggle between Project Hometown and Project Assassin constantly. I should just finish Project Hometown because it's a lot shorter and a lot easier than Project Assassin. With Project Hometown, there are still 2 timelines going on, but it's a singular point of view. I'm in the finale. I'm fully in the finale right now. I'm already past the Dark Night of the Soul, whatever. I'm in the finale. This is what I've been building up to, and this Project Hometown, the one I'm talking about now, is the first story where I knew exactly how I wanted it to end. It's a standalone story. Project Assassin, the fantasy novel, that's going to be a series, ideally. So that's even why it's even more crazy, because I want it to get on a really good foot, and I don't want to have contradicting information. It's such a big deal. Project Hometown is technically historical because it's set in the 90s, but that's weird. It would be contemporary for the 90s, just like realistic fiction literary, whatever the case. Maybe like a little bit of a mystery element, but so much easier. So I should finish that, but Project Assassin is the story of my heart. I love the characters so much. I love the story. I love the world. I love the themes that I have in it. It's just my baby. And I know that this is the trap. It's like a black hole. It sucks all of their energy and their time and their love and attention. And then it's kind of just a cesspool of keeping you kind of in the same place you are. You don't get to grow as a writer. But I have worked on all of those other projects so much that I have improved. And I do think even just working on this story, I am improving. And I do come back and forth from it so much that I'm not so in it that I can't see its faults. I step back, come back to it, see its flaws, fix them, and it's just this eternal cycle. The project I worked on last year, Project Apothecary, I wrote like 10,000 words for it, and since then I've not returned to it at all. I do want to write it, but I wasn't in the space to work on it at that point. I know it's not something I should prioritize right now. I should prioritize the 2 stories that I know I'm a lot closer to finishing. I should be doing Project Hometown, but I only have like 10 or 15,000 words. Probably like 10,000 words until I'm ready to call the first draft complete. There are going to be so many changes to that story, but to get a first draft done, it would probably take 10,000 words. And what is the point of doing the 10,000 word one when we're preparing for NovNov or NovNov, where I'm going to do 50,000 words? Why not do Project Assassin? Okay, now I'm going to rewatch everything that I just said and see if that makes any kind of sense. And then hopefully we'll actually get started on writing. I've just been so long editing, so now my brother's going to be home in like half an hour from school, and he's going to, if he sees me recording myself, he's going to make fun of me. My scrivener, I have, 45,000 words, 45,563 words out of my goal of 115,000. And I'm constantly, you know what? I think I'm going to show you guys to figure out how to do that. Don't tell anyone. I used to do movie reactions, so I used to do this all the time, but that was a different place on the internet, and I'm not doing that again. Please don't find it. Anyways, I went to click on this, and literally in my notes, it was open. When I opened my scrivener, it was the outline of the entire series to be, so I'm not going to show you that because that's spoilers, Mickey. Okay, so I made myself a note and called it spoiler free so you don't see. Okay, so yeah, you see 45,563 words out of 115,000 words. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna see about 115,000 words. I presently, because of the way it is, it has me writing 4,630 words because I guess earlier in the year I decided I'm gonna finish this so that I can do something different during November because I have my deadline. That's October 31st. There is no way I'm doing that. Not even going to be able to finish it by the end of November, but we'll just do that for the heck of it. So if I were to write every day starting now until the end of November, that's only 1,500 words a day. That's actually feasible. Also, considering where I'm at now, what I would be writing is probably stuff that I would be editing. Pretty much stuff I already have that I'd be tweaking. So maybe by the time I can get up to date with everything I've already written that just needs to be tweaked and stuff like that, I can maybe do that. Okay, I don't know why my dog was barking. So maybe with everything that I've already written that just needs to be fixed, like edited, revised, even like some rewriting, maybe I can get that done in this October, and then for November, whatever it's called, NovNov, maybe that can be all the new stuff I need to write. Are you seeing the vision? Literally, I tried to find anywhere that I can click on here that it will not spoil everything. I didn't really say much about it. It's a young adult fantasy. They're spies, But then something happens and they gotta do this assassination plot, okay? I can make another video like going more into detail, but that's also something I'm like, I don't know how much is like a good amount to talk about your writing projects online, especially if you ever want to like publish them in any capacity. That's not why I write, but that would be so cool if I did do that. I write for myself, first of all, before anything else. So if I never published anything, that'd ultimately be fine by me. That would just be a really cool bonus. But still, I'm very much like, I don't want to give anyone spoilers. But yeah, so I just have my Act 1. If I click, well, I can just blur it. My Act 1, my Act 2, my Act 2B, and same for Act 3. So I'm currently working on Act 2A. These ones with the one with the check mark, I've like gone over a million times. The ones with the magnifying glass are what I've done in most recent passes of it. And then the ones with the unchecked boxes, the stuff that I have to work on next. I still don't know how much to divulge about my story, or just stories in general. I know some people just like will say whatever, and they don't really care. Like they'll talk about the whole story, like the end and everything, spoilers and all. That would matter to me. Kind of the way I think of it, something happens in the first half of a book, first half of a story, it's kind of not a spoiler. I think it probably depends. But if you think about it, like if you're looking at the Save the Cat and you have the fun and games beat, which is like the 20% to the 50%, if your thing was a movie or a show, that's what would be in the trailer. So I kind of think like the midpoint, whatever shift happens in the midpoint, might end up being a spoiler, and pretty much anything afterwards is kind of a spoiler. I mean, potentially. That's the way I think about it in my mind. So if I were going to explain anything, any actual plot points, I think I would be more okay with talking about what happens in the first half and not about what happens in the second half. So, ooh, that's the good kush. Wait, hold on, guys, don't look. I wanna know what this. I started. I did start writing this. 18,000. Oh my god, I finished it. So wait, okay. The next chapter is gonna be tricky. That's why I didn't do it. Alright, well. Wish me luck. Okay, gang. It's like an hour later and I actually haven't written. Technically, I tweaked some words because the sentence says, she tries to indulge this watch duty, only sit back and wait for so long. And I'm like, that's not real words. So I wrote, she tries to indulge this watch duty, but can only sit back and wait for so long. But somehow I guess I deleted some words because it's still at a net zero. Alright, I should be going. To be fair, I have a lot on my mind, such as I just downloaded a video game demo for a game called Habromania. Also, Dan and Phil, those who know. Do you guys like my headphones? I really do gotta go. Whatever. Another thing about this story, whenever I finish a chapter and I go to start on a new chapter, if it's been a while, I have to go back and read that last chapter. But because there's so many POVs, like switching, so I have to read the last chapter, and then I have to read the last chapter that featured the character that I'm about to write. Guys, it's another hour later, it's getting dark, and my word count for the day is 14. My computer is being so loud that I'm standing all the way over here in the hopes that you can't hear it. But I wrote for realsies this time, guys. Hold on. Here, listen to my computer. I wrote 2,072 words, Woo! And since I spent so much time yapping, this is gonna be the end of this video. So, thank you so much for watching, if you did, and stay tuned for more of this. Okay, love you. Bye 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 bye. Bye bye bye. Do you like my frumpy sweater? It's like my favorite thing in the world. Okay, bye bye.